A pandemic of violence floods the streets of major cities as cases of the media-dubbed murder virus, MV20, soar, causing those infected to go on killing sprees. Caught in the middle, police detective Angela Miller finds her only trustworthy ally in the self-proclaimed psychic PI, Gerald Henry. As the two try to navigate the violence, they are drawn into New Age guru Abramelin Harvest's plot to heal the planet. Harvest's missive:
the world is sick, and humanity is the infection.
The cure: murder. From the twisted mind of Shawn Baker, author of A Collection of Desires and Shadow Play Book 1, Kim and Jesse, comes his most vicious novel yet, Murder Virus. Available where books are sold.
For the show. Yeah, well, I need to drive home too, so this
Yeah,
is
so be careful.
Yes.
We'll sober you up with some french fries down the
Oh,
road.
that sounds good. Can you guys Dropbox me some French fries?
Dropbox French fry. What are you drinking,
Yeah.
dude?
I am drinking Anchor Steam. God damn this
Oh,
invisible
nice.
wall. Anchor Steam. They changed their logo. It's kind of weird, but I like the yellow. What are
It
you
is
drinking?
weird because I remember the old Anchor Steam. It
Yeah.
looks like they went to like a retro look.
Yeah, I guess I didn't realize this has been around since 1896, man. I'm drinking history.
Yeah, you are.
So that's wow, look at
And
that.
it look like a nice dark beer too.
Yeah, it's a it's an ale, it's a dark.
I don't know what's going on with your drinks, but they keep disappearing as well.
It's this logo behind, I don't know, whatever. This dark magic that I've accessed via the Gehenna Stone.
Roll with it. It's like WandaVision.
Mm-hmm. So welcome to Drinking with Comics. I'm Shawn.
I'm Mike.
And we're here to drink and talk about comics. What are you drinking, man?
It's funny. I drank them dry.
La Pause.
And so I go into Hops and Vines today to figure out what I'm going to get. And the owner, Roger, he's like, "Hey man, we got your doggy wine back in." So I'm drinking my doggy wine. Yeah, the same thing. And I know it's like good to like kind of hop around, try different things or whatever.
It's for a good cause, man.
It's for a good cause, and it's $10. So, 1 + 1 = 2 in my book.
Exactly. So, was it how was your new comic book day?
It was damn good.
Good.
I with pandemic. Oops, sorry, I got burps. I've cut orders a bit, but now all of a sudden, like more and more people are coming. Zuri, he's been here for a couple months. Anthony comes through. Anthony got his stimulus check and spent a big chunk of it here irresponsibly. I told him not to, but who am I to stop him?
The heart wants what the heart
my
wants.
friend Crystal,
right?
who I've known for many years and will be on the show. She's not screen ready tonight, but anyway, she's been coming around, and let me just show you the pile of comics she's getting. Hold on one sec.
Okay.
So
Holy
that's what's up.
Shit.
That's what's up.
Wow.
And then we've got our Wednesday morning home shopping network, which you've been a part of at my apartment. Deliveries on Monday. So it's one of these things where it's like, oh shit, this is starting to work. It's starting to come together. As long as we can keep the momentum, we'll be good.
There is a palpable sense of like normalcy returning. I mean, almost to the degree where I'm like, okay, let's not rush it because we don't want take 2 steps forward and 9 steps back with the whole pandemic thing. But I will say, like, things are breathing a little bit more, and I think that's going to help your shop. And I think, dude, you, if not for COVID, I think you would be riding the back of the dragon right now. Like you would just be,
well, maybe it
through
was
the air, throwing comics.
Yeah,
I think that's going to happen.
I hope so. You know, maybe it was a blessing in disguise in a weird way that, you know, it made me definitely reassess the priorities of the business. And, you know me, dude, like, Free Comic Day at the Comic Bug, I wanted to get as many guests and cosplayers as I could. And, like, you know, I was looking, I think we had like 80 guests at the last Free Comic Day that I hosted. And that's not counting the cosplayers. I'm talking about the people we advertised. And now it's like, shit. Yeah, I mean, as great and fun as that was, and, you know, we had thousands of people turn out. I'd rather maybe focus. I mean, this is a smaller store. Focus on a more, you know, maybe 12 to 20 guests, which is still a lot. You know,
it's still, but yeah, it's proportional, right? I mean,
yeah,
you will get to the point. You outgrew your last store to the degree that shortly after I met you, you're like, oh, we're not doing new comic book, or I mean, Free Comic Book Day at the store. We rented out like the fucking Culver City Youth Center or something, and I show up and I'm like, this is insane. So you'll get back there, you know. I mean, and you're in a community. I mean,
that's not even my goal, though. It's like I don't need all that stress, and it's just me.
I don't mean that same size, but what I'm talking about is like in proportion to what you're doing now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you'll definitely get there. So I think that's that. When is Free Comic Book Day?
It's cool, and you know, I got a new little family down here of friends and customers, and actually have a little more time to read comics, which is why I got into this business in the first place, because I was a comic book fan. And we should start talking about that soon. But you know, it's size. It's what's the saying? It's not the size. It's the hip motion, maybe.
The girth.
Not the girth. It's not how big it is. It's how you use it.
Right. Yeah. Well, there you go. That's perfect. That's perfect. Wait.
Yeah, that's a Atomic Basement's new tagline. It's not how big it is, it's how you use it.
Yeah, that's a good tagline. What when is Free Comic Book Day, or is
it's happening supposedly.
It's the 14th?
And we will talk about that next episode because I forget the date, but I want to say it's like August 15th.
Oh, it's August. Didn't it? It used to be May, right? But so they pushed
so did Record Store Day. Record Store Day used to be in April. Everything's pushed back a little.
Yeah,
and I think that's a good thing. You know, we're just kind of waiting for these vaccines to take effect. And, you know, like my friend Crystal, she works at a hospital, and so, you know, I was asking her earlier, like, do you see like a downtick in cases coming in? And I don't think there's been much of a downtick yet, as much as we want to. I don't pretend's not the word, but be optimistic and be like, okay, let's. Yeah, you know, it's like when we were kids, you want to open your Christmas present. It's like on December 15th. You know, it's like, now you gotta wait till Christmas. You know.
You know what? Yeah, if you open them on December 15th, you got shit on Christmas morning. So don't, you know, overstep. But I agree. But okay, so let's talk about some comics.
Let's do it.
What do you got?
You want to start?
Yeah, okay. Let me start with, this is a tough call. There was a lot of good stuff. I'm going to start with this. So I talked about the first one. I'm not a Carnage fan. So far I fucking love this series. Okay, the Carnage Black, White, and Blood. And this one, there's 3 stories in it again. First one is called Carnage Shark. And
dude, who wrote that?
Donnie Cates. And it starts on, it's kind of an epilogue to King in Black, at least as far as Carnage is concerned. And it starts on like a freighter. Dude, I'm going to inlay it, but there's literally a fucking shark. I can't
like
help
Sharknado.
I can't help think that this is, you know, inspired by and kind of an homage to those awful Sharknado movies, but it was pretty cool. So his story was great. And then Chip Zdarsky did one that was like a horror movie. Like they're using this Carnage character. the history and the continuity of the character is incidental, and like the Chip Zdarsky story uses it like a horror movie. It's fucking fantastic. Really liked it. And they're just really short and sweet, and I'm really digging everything about it. So I really liked it.
Cool, man. So
What do
you're
you got?
still in. You're still on board.
I'm going to buy all 4, however long it goes. I'm digging it quite a bit.
Okay, the first one I'm going to recommend, I'm going to jump to the chase. So again, one of our Atomic Basement family members here, Zuri, recommended it. Because I was like, oh shit, I got to read some comics. We have a show to do in 2 hours. And he's like, you got to read this. And it's the 3rd issue. So it was like, I hadn't read 1 and 2. And I thought that it was just kind of a riff on Power Rangers, but you're going to like this. I can't sell it to you because it's sold out, but
it's Radiant Black, right?
How do you know?
Because you pitched you recommended the first book to me. I think without having read it, just because it was a new book, and I'm like, yeah, it looks like Power Rangers. I'm not interested. I mean, that's after my. Yeah. I was, but so you're saying it's good.
It's up your alley, is what I'm saying. It's called Radiant Black. That's a shitty cover, right?
I like that actually. That's kind of cool.
I didn't, but after you read the book, it makes sense.
Okay.
And it's so the main hero who isn't named Radiant Black, I think, until this issue. He's his day job is he's a writer.
Okay.
And he's suffering through a severe case of writer's block.
Okay.
And I think he lives with his parents, from what I gathered reading it. And there's things, because I know you're a writer and I'm a writer, and that was why Zuri recommended it to me. Was there's things that we will identify with, or I did identify with as a writer, like writing yourself into a corner, or like that opening a can of worms that like this is boring, like why I didn't take the character in this direction. So I would say the first 2/3 of the book of this issue is kind of like that, and then spoiler alert if you haven't read it, but yeah. And then
I haven't, but that's fine.
Right. Well, I'm talking to I don't care about you. I'm talking about the people out there. He puts on his costume and like goes flying around, and there's a family that has a flat tire. And the dad, it's like a dad, a mom, and I think 2 kids. And, the dad's trying to get home in time to watch the basketball game. And so the superhero flies in, Radiant Black, and tries to help him change the tire, and isn't good at it. And so, I mean, it's I'm going to leave it there. But it's relatable.
It sounds a little bit like the Hawkeye series that Faction did, where it was
a little bit, where it's like Seinfeld meets, Hawkeye.
Like the kind of just the superhero, like dealing with the kind of basic, trivial shit in life, like change a tire, program.
Oh, and so one of the things, a scene in the book, his buddy's like trying to help him come up with a superhero name for his superhero. And so like one of the names he comes up with is Darkness, and then they're like, oh, that's already taken, and then Mighty Morphin Lawsuit.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Your turn.
All right, so we talked about the first issue of this. It was such a big deal that it apparently killed the Predator series before it ever got a chance. But second issue of Marvel's Alien. The first issue I got because I just wanted to check it out. I mean, I didn't love it, and the art is good, but it's just not my bag.
Gotcha.
But I'll tell you what. Did you read this?
No, it's sold out.
Dude, this kicks it up a notch. I really like this issue. I'm in for at least the rest of the story arc. It takes you. It doesn't give you the full out action at the beginning. It kind of does that thing where like something's happening, but you're not seeing what's happening at the beginning. That sets it up. And then it kind of gets into getting the major characters in place. And then it throws you so that at the end of it, you have, the splash at the end is like an alien. I really liked it.
I did read number 1, and I will say that they're taking a very cinematic approach to the series.
Definitely.
Where like most comic books, it's like, okay, we need blood and guts by page 3, you know?
Yeah,
and
definitely not.
They're doing character building and world building. I mean, we already kind of know the world of Aliens, but and I have to send you a link, but I do have more information on why
you sent it to me.
I did the Predator thing, like it's a lawsuit thing.
Yeah,
okay.
so
I forgot.
I don't totally understand that. I didn't read. I skimmed that article when you sent it to me. I should have prepped better.
I think 2 people wrote a screenplay that was very similar to Predator and might have been optioned at one point to 20th Century Fox and didn't get made, but then they came along and they made Predator, and it was so similar that now there's litigation. Yeah.
Oh,
don't quote me on that.
That'll be interesting to see how that turns out, because I know, you know, that, I mean, that's obviously common in Hollywood with that kind of thing happening, but yeah, I don't know. That's interesting.
Well, I mean, obviously Disney's taking it serious if they've shelved and pushed back an entire comic series and these variant covers. They literally, these variant covers were like about to come out, and they're like, no, not right now. So
yeah, but isn't it also because of the distribution deal too? So I mean, I don't think
I don't think so anymore.
Okay.
I mean, that was my initial, but yeah, I think it's more of we don't know how this is gonna go. You know,
that's really weird though, because if you think about it, 20th Century Fox has been, I mean, they don't make that many, but you know, every 10 years or something they crank out a Predator movie. So I mean, why these people didn't sue before? I mean, maybe they were just waiting for the fucking deep pockets. Like, I don't know.
Who knows, man?
I'm so happy you turned me on to this series, dude. The new no, but the new Stray Dogs #3.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I finished it, and the last page, I was literally like, holy shit. Like I said that out loud. Like,
yeah.
This book is so good. Seriously, if anyone's not reading it, it is my strongest recommendation right now. I mean, there's other books that are like I like better because I've been reading them longer. They mean more to me. But this, as far as something that came out of the blue, that you were like, here, read the first 2 issues, tell me what you think. I love this book. I think it's fantastic. I think everyone.
Well, if you don't want your number 2, I have a customer who wants it.
Dude, I'm keeping that shit. Loved it.
Yeah,
it's a great read. Really good.
All right, what else can I hook you on? Ultra Mega. Have you heard? We talked about this on a previous episode.
No,
right?
We talked about it in your apartment the other day.
Oh.
It immediately made me think of Ultra Mega OK by Soundgarden. So I was like, oh, I'm kind of interested. And then I don't know. I mean, part of it is spin control because I'm reading a lot of shit right now.
Right. I'm a bad influence, bro.
You're a good influence.
But yeah, it's good. It's don't think Ultra Mega OK. It's not Soundgarden.
No, I know.
It's more like Ultraman if he did a fucking bong load of crack and started ripping things apart.
You almost lost me with the Ultraman, and then when you said bong load of crack ripping things apart, I became interested again.
I think that this should be our bedtime story tonight, bro. You should come over. I'm sure I can get some crack around here somewhere, and then we can read this together and just tear things apart. You know?
Nah, I gotta get up at 4. Sorry, not happening.
Party pooper.
I mean, so what is the deal with that book? Like, give me some.
I mean,
a
really,
little bit more.
The main thing about it to me is the artwork.
It is
I think
cool.
James Herron writes and draws it, and it's one of those things where, one thing I don't. You want to look at it? One thing I don't love about some comic book writers is they're trying to prove to you how insightful and intelligent they are.
You're talking about Neil Gaiman and Grant Morrison. I already know it. So I already know it.
But this guy, it's just full on, like, our musical taste, dude. Like, it's thrash metal, dude. It's a Godzilla thrash metal comic.
Okay, that's
so. I'm not saying there's a lot to the story. There's not, and that's fine.
that's fine.
Have you seen the Crank movies with Jason Statham?
Yes.
Simplest plot ever,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, a lot of girls do, but it's just pure adrenaline, man. And
wait, did she just say her mom loves those movies?
Yes, she's got a cool mom. Oh,
that's fucking
metal horns.
That is
oh,
fucking
dude.
awesome. She's
the metal
awesome.
queen of comics, I would say. She's all. I think her favorite band is Trivium.
Okay.
Iron Maiden. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. She always be talking about Trivium though.
So let me I'm gonna spin off of the metal topic here.
Let's do it.
The new issue of the ongoing IDW Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 116. So I mean this is, I've said this for years on our previous iterations of this show. This is the best reboot that's ever happened. It started in 2012. They're on issue 116 now. And so for anybody that out there that doesn't know, something happened, I think last year or the year before, is they introduced a fifth turtle, a character that was a female member of the Foot Clan. Yes, Jenica. She got a blood transfusion in an emergency life or death situation.
A blood transfusion?
A blood transfusion.
Oh,
blood
sorry,
transfusions almost never work. So, and because she got a blood transfusion from one of the turtles, she mutated into a turtle. So she's the fifth female turtle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Also, they did this thing where a character, they have all these mutant characters that are, hybrid human animal, like the turtles. This character Hobbs set off a mutant bomb in New York and turned like a couple square blocks in New York into what is now walled off by the rest of the city and known as Mutant Town, and it's just inhabited by mutants. And they used it for some cool political, you could see the real world in it last year.
How long has that storyline been going on with the Mutant Town?
It's since last year. It was very timely. Okay, they built a wall,
right.
So in Mutant Town, the mutants are trying to be normal, right? So they have cafes, they have this, they have that. There's a club where they go where bands play. And so Jenica plays guitar, and this issue, she rounded up the members and started a fucking death metal band. And oh my God, I'm so psyched about. I mean, every issue of this book is great, but now, and so
I have a copy left so I can read it.
They're having a fucking battle of the bands. Her band versus, wait for it, Bebop and Rocksteady's band.
Oh, nice. What's their band called?
I don't even know. It doesn't even fucking matter. It's just Bebop and Rocksteady. And oh man, this book is so like.
Is Vanilla Ice in Bebop and Rocksteady's band?
No, he's not. What happened? Did somebody set off a mutant bomb?
Fucking Vanilla Ice came in here and tried to take my phone.
I totally believe that, because what else would he be doing right now? I mean, there's probably
in Long Beach.
There's probably a glory hole around the corner. That's his, that's his 9 to 5.
Snoop Dogg saved me and got it back, so we're good now.
Good. All right, so
we were talking about Ninja Turtles. I'm gonna do a twofer.
Okay.
Well, I can't because somebody bought my Women of Marvel. One sec.
Oh, boo-hoo. Somebody bought my comics.
So Women of Marvel came out this week.
Okay.
And Spider-Woman. Now, I'm not a huge fan of anthologies, it's like some of the stories in here are like just one page long. Like, okay, what can you do in a page? But I do like the sort of sentiment and cause behind this book, because it highlights a lot of the female Marvel Universe characters, and it's written and drawn and edited entirely by a female staff.
Okay.
And some of the stories are cute, some are like whatever. But at the end, then there's like here, I'll find it. There's almost like it's like a roll call of
Oh,
the
creators.
women
That's cool.
that currently work at Marvel. And we all know and talk about Chip Zdarsky and what's his name, Donnie Cates, and these names, but we don't often give, I think, the females in our industry enough credit. So it's like, oh wow, this, like, for instance, and of course I know a few of these names, but a lot of these I'd never heard of, and it's like, the Annalisa Bisa she's been an associate editor at Marvel for 35 years, and that deserves some acknowledgement.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Daniel Drake, the font's a little funny, but it looks like she's been there for 5 years, and just like the different things they do. There's a really nice foreword written by Louise Simonson.
Oh well, she's royalty in my book. Like,
right.
Her and Ann
she
Nocenti.
really kind of, huh?
I said her and Ann Nocenti, if I'm pronouncing that right.
She talks about Ann Nocenti.
I mean, dude, that was one of the things I think that really set Marvel apart early on from DC. I'm not saying DC didn't have any women involved, but like Louise Simonson and Ann Nocenti, they did some of the biggest fucking titles Marvel had in the early 80s, right? Like X-Men, Daredevil. Like they did these huge seminal runs that are iconic. And are
I'll put Ann Nocenti's Daredevil run right up to Frank Miller's.
I will too. In fact, I like it better. I mean, Miller's is great, but I like Ann Nocenti's run better.
But one thing she points out is like, and this is interesting, that the early days of Marvel and the early days of DC, it was all dudes. It was like Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, Steve Ditko. Yeah. It was, I think maybe there was one or two women in the bullpen back in the early days. And they made and marketed their comics towards a male audience. And then when she came in, the stories, and the best part about this book is the prologue. But when she came in, like, she didn't want to be singled out as like the girl writer, and she worked on team books, and she didn't want to be put on these comics that were probably going to get canceled in 6 months. And she really, her legacy proves it, that, she did the right thing. She said that the marketing research at the time wasn't the greatest, and, like, what do people want, whatever. And it was like a 95% male audience, probably until like the 80s. Yeah. And she said by her latest estimation, it's 60% male, 40% female, which still isn't, even, but I see it. I mean, I've been a retailer for 25 years, and I see, you make comics that people can identify with and, appeal to them. You'll get readers. You'll get, it's again, we're a medium. I always say that, comics are a medium. So it's not necessarily all for kids. It's not necessarily all for boys. We should be as welcoming to every community as we can,
I agree. And it makes for better fucking stories,
I'm going to be the first to admit, like, I'm a sucker for these stupid Dynamite comics that have these sexy girls on the front. And I haven't read many of them, but
I feel like the covers are what sells those books.
Exactly. And it sounds like I order a lot, but I like them. And okay, like, me liking that doesn't beget, like, I say it because she's here, Crystal having something that appeals to her, like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
What are we talking
about? She had stopped paying attention. Can you believe that?
I was reading.
No, I was just talking about how, like, like the fact that, like, Vampirella exists doesn't mean there's not something that you like, or, it doesn't take away from Vampirella. You know what I mean? Like, comics are for everybody, and, like, whatever you're into, and,
yeah,
there's maybe
I totally
something
agree.
to be learned there,
It makes for better stories to have a wider,
Which one you're reading? Oh yeah, you read that today. Yeah. Sorry.
Wait, so that was the twofer. So it was Women of Marvel, and what was
the other one was Spider-Woman. So yeah, she's gone back. Speaking of Dynamite covers, she's gone back to her old school, like, I think, painted on 70s costumes.
So we talked about this when this happened. Who was the guy that was it this character that there was an infamous cover that like
Milo Manara?
So that's way back. That
would be like 6 or 7 years ago, probably.
Yeah, we talked about it on this show. I remember that.
I mean,
I had never
you don't
heard of this.
hire a guy who specializes in erotica. That's his specialty. To do your covers if you're not ready to, stand by. I love the cover. Dude, I ain't gonna lie. I watch porn. I whatever. Like, I don't think that makes me a bad person.
No, it doesn't make you a bad person.
You didn't say that with enough confidence.
No, it doesn't make you a bad person at all.
Doesn't make me a good person.
Oh my! Well, it doesn't make you a good person. It doesn't mean that you're not a good person, but you can't be like,
I'm
a bad.
Saying is, so he did a very. I'm not going to say lewd because I don't think that's a word.
It's not lewd.
I'm going to use a big word. All right, I need $5 because it's a $5 word. Lavacious Spider.
Oh, that's a Neil Gaiman word.
Yeah,
Put a penny in the swear jar.
Now?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
lascivious.
Her ass is in the air like she just don't care. And it caused an uproar. It was one of the early sort of things.
You know what? That cover.
Marvel's solution, which I think was a good solution, was to put the Spider-Woman logo over her butt. Dude, that
cover was not a big deal. It was not a big deal. That was the same.
Not to you or me, but maybe to other people.
But here's the thing. The reason why it's not a big deal, I'm not saying it doesn't need to be addressed, but those are the covers. So Dynamite is still making those covers.
Right.
And nobody's running around screaming about them, right? I'm not saying, I mean, personally, I wouldn't buy something that looked like that. I just wouldn't, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the only time I was ever surprised by what was inside a book that looked like that is Joseph Michael Linzer's Dawn, where I just dismissed it as a TNA book. And when I read it, I was like, this is fucking amazing.
It's great.
Those are amazing books. But anything that looks like that Milo Manara cover, I wouldn't even I would pass it and just probably roll my eyes, because we've been seeing that. I've been reading comics since the early 80s. We've been seeing that cover to some degree since then. So it's nothing new. So the fact that everybody lost their shit about it, I just didn't get it. It's like, I don't know. I mean, people pick and choose their battles.
Right.
And I just felt like that was a weird battle.
Well, I mean,
it was a stupid cover, but I mean,
yeah, those who didn't like it, they succeeded in, having Marvel not hire him to do future covers. This has been several years ago, and that's
sure
fine.
He's still making his erotica.
Found other work. And then I mean, it got a little. I don't know, weird story. I mean, I'm all for progress, dude. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But Spider-Woman, they had her she got pregnant, she got a new costume, and went through several sort of changes. I'm a fan of iconic, iconic looks of characters. Like, that's the Spider-Woman I knew back in the day.
Yeah.
It's that's the 1978 costume. I fucking hate Alex Ross, as you know.
Yeah.
But I love those covers he did where all the characters looked like, when you think of Vision, you remember him looking a certain way, or Hawkeye.
Yeah, right.
Whatever. The iconic covers. I think it was called Legends covers or something like that. So, I don't know. I mean, am I going to buy this Spider-Woman comic? No. But it's like, oh, it's cool. It caught my eye. And it's cool. I mean, yeah.
I mean, the other, just the last thing I'll say about it too is I mean, I know it's the costumes painted on. They do the same thing with their male characters. So.
Oh yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? It's I didn't get.
I actually painted my costume on tonight. I don't know if you could tell.
I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that.
I have seen though at comic conventions, cosplayers that have their shit just painted on, and God bless them. That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, I'm shit, man.
It's cheaper than maybe Yeah, making
the
a whole
material.
costume.
I will just check back in real quick with Orphan and the Five Beasts. So you got me to buy the first issue. I just read the second one. I love them both, and that kind of put me in a mind. I picked up on a lark, not from you, but
It's okay.
Larry Hama's writing a fucking Iron Fist book.
I know, yeah.
And I don't know anything about Iron Fist at all.
Well, you should read the book.
I bought the first 3 issues, and I read the first issue, and I liked it. There's so much I don't know about the character, but I'll tell you what. So this is, I have to thank you because, I have been to some degree off and on a lifelong Marvel fan, and comics in general, but especially Marvel. And I just haven't been with it for a couple of years. And I don't, that's good. I'm not forlorn about that, but it hasn't spoke to me. But something about starting the show again and like wanting to kind of like get my the pulse of what's going on.
Well, we can't do a comic show if you don't read comics.
Well, but I read a bunch of other comics,
right.
I'm reading Dan Waters' The Picture of Everything Else and his Homesick Pilots. I'm reading Dr. Valley Road. I'm reading The Autumnal. I'm reading all these books, but right now I'm just really interested in Marvel again. And it reminds me of when I was, I don't know, 10, 11, and I'd go to the comic shop and, I'd go in and I had my little bit of allowance and I'd look around and I would buy, it was like G.I. Joe, Hama's G.I. Joe was the definite. But then maybe I'd buy Spider-Man if it looked like a cool storyline, or maybe I'd buy Captain America if it looked like a cool storyline or whatever. And I feel like that again, and I haven't felt like that in a really fucking long time. And so it's just been cool to rediscover this stuff. So like I've been buying the Spider-Man stuff from you, and not all of it's great, but I'm really feeling Spider-Man lately, and not in a way I haven't since the 80s. I even went and finally I'm watching all the Marvel movies I missed, because about the time Civil War came out, I was done with those movies. I didn't see any of them for a long time, and
they're still
comics, good. The Spider-Man movies are fucking amazing. I just watched both of them this week, and I'm holy shit! Oh my god, they're fucking amazing. You shouldn't
watch them back to back. You should do them in order.
I was gonna try to do that, but you know what? It's
because you don't know what the snap is. You're watching Far From Home.
No, I did. I saw those. I did see those.
All right. Yeah. It's all kind of laid out in a.
There's a continuity, and that's what I love about it. I think that's what's inspiring me. So, all right. Well, we'll be back next week with another Drinking with Comics New Comic Book Day roundup. But until then, I'm Shawn.
I'm still Mike.
You're still Mike, and
you're still Anthony and Zuri and Crystal.
Say hi and thank you to the studio audience. And I can't wait
we have a studio audience tonight, dude.
I can't wait to do that again. I miss that so much, man.
Oh wow, you hear that?
Oh man, I miss it. I miss it so much.
That's a sound that a lot of people haven't heard in a while.
You'll have to tell them about Close Your Eyes and Feel This. I can't wait to bring that back.
It's a little early in the game. They just kind of met me.
Yeah, that's never stopped you before.
Trying to be better, Shawn. Just kidding.
Yeah, no, it's harmless. Come on. Okay, man. All my love. I'll talk to you next week.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you soon.